If everyone would please take their seats. Good afternoon. Today is Tuesday, March 14th, 2023. I hereby call the local government full committee to order. Madam Clerk, will you please take the roll?
Representatives Alexander, Burkhart, Carr, Doggett, Hale, Haynes, Holsclaw, Love, Martin, McKenzie, Miller, Moon, Raper, Reedy, Rudd, Shaw, Slater, Stevens, Thompson, Vice Chairman Wright, Chairman Crawford.
Present.
Mr. Chairman, you have a quorum.
Thank you. We got 20 bills to deal with today. Please, everyone, be patient. We've got several chairmen who are chairing committees at the exact same time that will be coming in, and we're going to try to get them taken care of so they can get back to their committees. So does any of the members have any personal orders or announcements? Representative Moon.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Today I have a person from my district sharing me. It's Mackenzie Kirkland, and she took her day off from spring break to come see what we do in Nashville. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Wonderful. If everyone would please, pay attention to where we're going, help me stay straight at this time. I'll recognize Chairman Hawk on item number 4. Motion. Proper motion and second.
Thank you, Chairman and members, for your indulgence. I appreciate that. House Bill 1549 is a private act for the town of Greenville. It is an update to the charter and will put their elections on the same time frame as other even year elections. Right now, the town of Greenville is one of the few that has an odd year election. So it's going to put them in line with other elections in Greenville, Greene County, and Tennessee. That's the crux and the purpose of it. It was brought to my attention earlier that one of the facets of the legislation, Chairman Carr had recognized something in Section 7, subsection 5, that was dealing with what a town can regulate. As with many town charters, this goes back to the 1903 charter and many businesses that were in place at that point in time. In effect, this does not increase nor decrease any authority that the town of Greenville has. That section is put in there specifically. I'm looking for Chairman Carr. Yes, there's Chairman Carr. That section is put in there specifically to add 1 or 2 words, beer garden. There's actually a beer garden that's going to be starting in downtown Greenville, and you all are welcome to come at any point in time. But that is that section is there especially for that. So with that explanation, would love to entertain any questions and appreciate
Any
your
questions
consideration.
for the sponsor? Question has been called on the bill. All those in favor of voting on House Bill 1549, moving out to calendar and rules, please say aye. Aye. Opposed, no. Bill moves on to calendar and rules.
Thank you, Chairman.
Thank you, Chairman. Speaker Marsh. We're back on item 1. I do have a proper motion and second. I do see that it has an amendment. Can you please give us your drafting code, sir?
4454.
That is correct. Motion on the amendment, second on the amendment. You're recognized, sir, on your amendment.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. This bill concerns tangible personal property tax reform. Small businesses in Tennessee have expressed frustration for many years with the inefficiencies and costs associated with the annual filing of the tangible personal property tax schedule. What we're trying to do today is to make this a lot simpler and easier. Last December, TASER recommended that the General Assembly should give more businesses a means to reduce the time and cost of filing personal property taxes without decreasing local tax revenues. Right now, some of these folks are paying hundreds of dollars to have these schedules filled out by tax professionals, and a lot of times the fee is only $25 or less. So what we're trying to do is change the schedule. We're going to make it, right now it's $1,000 and less. You just fill out and automatically it's like a $10 tax bill. So we're going to move that 1,000 up to 2,000. So you go from 0 to 2,000. You fill out one form. You pay a small tax. subject to audit. And then we're going to have another tier, 2,000 up to 10,000. So we believe that this new schedule would take care of 52% of all filers. So it's going to make it a lot simpler on them and on the county tax collectors also. With that, I'll answer any questions.
I apologize, Speaker Marsh. That amendment that's what helped make, that's what you were explaining, the amendment on the bill, correct?
Well, I think the amendment, yeah, that's it.
Okay, let's go ahead and get it in proper form. I apologize. All those in favor of placing Amendment 4454 on to House Bill 804, please say aye. Opposed, no. The amendment is now on the bill. You heard the discussion of the bill as amended. Any questions for the sponsor? Question's been called on the bill. All those in favor of House Bill 0804 moving out to finance, please say aye. Opposed, no. Bill moves on to finance.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman, committee.
Okay, folks, we're going to go to item 14, which is House Bill 1551 by Chairman Russell. Chairman Russell, you are recognized on your bill, sir.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Proper motion and second.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman and the committee. House Bill 1551 increases from 9 to 10 the number of county school board members for Monroe County.
I have received a resolution from the local governing body of 2/3, so that will be in my office if anyone would like to see it. You've heard the explanation of the bill. Is there any questions for the sponsor? Seeing none, we are ready to vote on House Bill 1551. All those in favor, please say aye. Opposed, no. Bill moves on to calendar and rules.
Thank you.
You say Curtis Johnson. Okay, we'll have to come back to it. Item number 3 on today's agenda, without objection, will be rolled 1 week. Let's see. Item number 6 on today's agenda, House Bill 1197 by Williams, has been rolled without objection 1 week. All right, let's jump back to item number 2. This is House Bill 0491 by Chairman Johnson. You're recognized, sir. Proper motion and second.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. House Bill 491 deals with Tourism Development Authority, or the Tourism Development Authority Act, which we passed into law in 2012. Only 4 tourism development authorities have been created. That's Gatlinburg, Smoky Mountains, McMinnville, and Henry County. The projects that are defined under this present is visitor centers, recreational facilities, and greenways. What this bill does, it broadens the definition to performing arts centers and museums. That's what it does, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you, Mr. Sponsor. Is there any question for the sponsor? Question's been called on the bill. All those in favor of House Bill 091 moving on to calendar and rules, please say aye. Okay. Apologize. I must have said the number wrong. House Bill 0491. All those in favor, please say aye. Opposed, no. Bill moves on to calendar and rules.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman, committee.
I think that puts us at item 8 on the agenda by Representative Leatherwood. House Bill 0853. Proper motion and second. Representative Leatherwood, I see we have an amendment. Can you please give us your drafting code?
5027.
That is correct. Do I have a motion on the amendment? Proper motion and second on the amendment. Does the amendment make the bill, sir?
Yes, sir.
Let's go ahead and get that in proper form. All those in favor of placing Amendment 5027 onto House Bill 853, please say aye. Opposed, no. The bill is now amended. You're recognized. Sponsor on your bill.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman and committee. Simple bill here. All this bill intends to do is to provide national uniformity in the measurement of length that we use, and it will establish the international foot as the standard. And again, this is something that's being done across the country to try and bring uniformity to this.
You've heard the explanation of the sponsors. Are there any questions for the sponsor? Representative McKenzie, you're recognized.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. So is an international foot longer or shorter than?
Representative Leatherwood, you're recognized.
Actually, that's a good question. And until the surveyors brought me this bill, I just always thought a foot was a foot. And I know no one here has ever dealt with having to work with a foot in the mouth or anything. But if you ever did, the international foot is actually slightly smaller. And where it becomes an issue with metric being used some places, not used other places, you know, a foot's a foot until you try and describe it in metric terms. And I've got the number here. The U.S. survey foot, again, when described as a percentage or a fraction on a meter, it's 1/1200 divided by 3,937 of a meter. And that gives you, if you are focused, 0.3048006096 is a U.S. foot. Now, the international foot actually rounds it off. It is 0.0348. So the international foot would be 006096, shorter than the U.S. foot. Again, that's.
Thank you, Representative McKenzie.
Yeah,
I mean,
thank you.
Mr. Leatherwood, I do have a question for Representative Shaw.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. And
There you go.
I'm just curious, how will this law affect other states since you passed it in Tennessee? I mean, you talked about the international piece of it, and I'm just trying to figure out, let's just say Kentucky, the state over, if we pass it here, how does it affect them?
Representative
Yes,
Leatherwood.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Yes, I know the one's called the international foot, and what we use now is the U.S. foot. And, but so this is something that all the states are passing. So we're actually doing this to come into uniformity with the other states. We're not trying to come into uniformity with other countries or anything at this point.
Any other questions for the sponsor? Seeing none, we're ready to vote on House Bill 853. Moving on to calendar and rules. All those in favor, please say aye. Opposed, no. Bill moves on to calendar and rules.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman and Committee.
You're welcome. We're going to back up to number 7. Chairman Whitson, House Bill 1536. Do I have a motion? Proper motion and second. You're recognized on your bill, sir.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman and committee. Mr. Chairman, I provided you the resolution from the Franklin Special School Board dated 9 January 2023, calling through a private act the ability of Franklin Special School District to issue bonds in the amount of $20 million. This is a private act.
Is there any questions for the sponsor on the bill? Chairman Rudd, you're recognized.
I think this is more of an educational question than anything on my part. Does the Franklin Special School District, does it have taxing authority?
Yes, Mr.
So it
Chairman.
does. Most school districts don't. So they already have that authority to tax.
That's correct. It was created in 1906. It's one of 2 school systems in Williamson County.
All right, I was wondering, because usually a county school system issues, or even sometimes in cities when they don't have taxing authority, the legislative body is the one that carries, issues the bonds. I was just wondering.
Right.
All right.
So this is a routine. They've done this before, and I've carried similar legislation for the school district in the past.
Any other questions for the sponsor? Seeing none, we're ready to vote on House Bill 1536. Moving on to calendar and rules. Please say aye. Opposed, no. Bill moves on to calendar and rules.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Thank you, committee.
You're welcome. We will jump over to item 11, House Bill 1430 by Chairman Hicks. Do I have a motion? Proper motion and second. Chairman Hicks, you're recognized.
Thank you. Thank you, Mr. Chairman and committee. House Bill 1430 gives counties the option to appoint members of their respective industrial boards, regardless of whether potential candidates are county taxpayers or qualified electors.
Any questions for the sponsor? Seeing none, we're ready to vote on House Bill 1430. Moving on to calendar and rules. Please say aye. Opposed, no. The ayes have it. Moves on to calendar and rules.
Thank you, Chairman, committee.
Item number 9, House Bill 0910 by Gillespie. Do I have a motion? Proper motion and second. Representative Gillespie, you're recognized on your bill.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman and committee. This is a pretty simple bill. What it does is it allows corrections officers or deputy jailers to live where they want to live as long as they can show up to work on time and do their job. And with that, I renew my motion.
Representative Miller, you're recognized.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Can jailers not currently live where they want to live? Is it?
Representative Gillespie.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Okay, so last year we passed residency requirements to get rid of residency requirements for law enforcement officers. Deputy jailers or corrections officers were not included in that. Right now, in some circumstances, those deputy jailers are being charged significant fines to out of their paycheck in order to work or live where they want to reside. And this just corrects that. These are hard working people that have difficult, dangerous jobs. And in some cases, we should pay them more, but for the county to take money out of their paycheck just because they don't live in, down the street from the jail, I think that's an injustice.
Representative Miller.
So the passage of this bill will prohibit the county governments from deducting any monies from their paycheck? Is that what
Representative
I'm
Gillespie.
understanding?
Thank you. It would prohibit them from discriminatory hiring practices based on residency.
Representative Miller.
So is the Shelby County Sheriff Department or sheriff in support of this legislation?
This was brought to me by the sheriff. Yes, sir.
Thank you.
Any other questions? Seeing none, we're ready to vote on House Bill 0910. All those in favor of it moving on to calendar and rules, please say aye. Opposed, no. Bill moves on to calendar and rules.
Thank you all.
We will jump back to item number 5. I see Chairman Farmer has come in. House Bill 1361. We have a proper motion and second. Chairman Farmer, you're
Yeah,
recognized.
and thank you, Mr. Chair, committee. And this one, I don't think it has, is it amendment? Do I have an amendment on this? I do apologize. I'm
No, sir.
running around today like a chicken with my head cut off, and I do appreciate the committee's indulgence. What this does, this increases the property tax exemption from $175,000 to $210,000 for our disabled veterans.
Any questions for the sponsor? Question has been called on the bill. We're ready to vote on House Bill 1361. Moving on to finance. All those in favor, please say aye. Opposed, no. Bill moves on to finance.
Thanks so much.
Okay, item 10. We have Chair Lady Moody, House Bill 0090. Proper motion and second. We do have one amendment on it. I know that makes the bill. We'll go ahead and put that amendment on it and you can discuss it, ma'am.
I just lost it.
Okay, committee, the number we have is 004465. We do have another amendment, but it was untimely filed, so we'll have to take that up next week. But I told the chair lady we would take care of this and let her discuss it, and we wouldn't take it up. We will roll it. So without objection, we're voting on Amendment 4465 on to House Bill 90. All in favor, please say aye. Opposed, no. The amendment is now on the bill. Amendment 4799 is untimely, so we can't take that up, but you're recognized on the bill as amended.
With
Chair Lady
4465.
Moody.
Thank you so much, Chairman and committee. And that Amendment 4465 was simply a technical change. It was 2 words put together, or for, and they should be separated as or for. And that's simply what that amendment does. And thank you for the time to work on this, the next amendment that we'll be bringing next week. And it's a good one, and I'm anxious to share it with you. Thank you.
Without objection, this will be rolled 1 week as it is.
Thank you.
All right. I'll just take it. I'll get confused. Is Todd in here? Okay. Please be patient here, guys, so I get to the right bill. Okay, next on the list will be item 16, House Bill 0763 by Chairman Eldridge. Chairman Eldridge, you're recognized. Got a proper motion and second. You're recognized on your bill, sir.
Thank you, Chairman, committee. This bill comes to us from the Tennessee County Officials Association and County Clerks Association, and it's essentially a cleanup bill, and it's making the code reflect what they're actually doing in practice now. Some of the requirements that's covered under House Bill 763 are being, most all the ones that are covered under this are being done by the county financial officers now. So it's essentially a cleanup for that.
You've heard the explanation of the sponsors. Are there any questions? Seeing none, I think we're ready to vote. All those in favor of House Bill 763 moving on to calendar and rules, please say aye. Opposed, no. Bill moves on to calendar and rules.
Thank you, Chairman and committee.
We're going to back up to item 13, House Bill 1552 by Representative Warner. Without objection, will be rolled 1 week. Let's see. Next on the list will be House Bill 0699 by Representative Glenn. Got a proper motion and second. Representative Glenn, you're recognized.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Thank you, members. This House Bill 699 is being brought to you by our county commissioner office. What this bill essentially does is it prohibits someone from serving on both the county commissioner seat as well as the city council. There is a conflict of interest when that happens. And so our county commissioners want to make sure that that is not interchangeable together. So that's all this bill does. It's just a limit. It prohibits someone from serving on both simultaneously.
You've heard the representative explain his bill. Is there any questions? Representative Martin, you're recognized.
Thank you, Representative Glenn. I'm curious as to why it's just limited to these counties and not others.
Representative Glenn?
It's specific for any county over 200,000, so as not to affect our rural communities who sometimes they have to have those two people serving on both because there's just simply not enough people running in those elections. So it only will affect these 5 counties.
Representative Martin, any follow-up? Any other questions for the sponsor? Representative Wright, you're recognized.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Looking at the list of counties, this does affect Knox. Is there consideration contact with Knox County?
Representative Glenn?
Yes, actually, the Knox County representatives actually support this bill as well as Hamilton and Shelby. They all gave me a call and thanked me for the bill.
Chairman Wright, follow up. Any other questions for the sponsor? Representative Martin.
Representative Glenn, when you say the counties called you, what do you mean by that?
County
Representative Glenn.
representatives. I'm sorry, county representatives such as Representative McKenzie down there from Knox County.
Okay, so uh, did someone from Hamilton County reach out to you?
Absolutely, yeah.
And-
I'm
and
sorry.
Representative Glenn, you're
Y-
recognized.
Yes, they did.
Was it from the county commission or is it,
Yes.
did they, I'm sorry, did they
Representative-
vote on this in resolution? Or is it just one individual commissioner or two individual commissioners?
Representative Glenn.
I do not know if they voted on it in particular, but it was a county commissioner from Hamilton County who called and thanked me for the bill.
Representative Martin.
Well, the reason I ask you that is because I know that the county commission speaks as a commission in resolution, not one or two. I'm not saying the merits of the bill. It's just the fact that if you're going to say that the commission spoke, I'd like to see the resolution, not one or two. I think you could probably find one or two people on any commission to be for something, but that doesn't necessarily mean it is the county.
Representative Glenn, would you like to respond?
I can't speak to that. Again, it was just an email and a call from one of the in Hamilton County who supported the bill. So-
Chairman Moon, you're recognized.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. And to the sponsor, would you consider rolling this bill and reaching out to those entities and see if they would take official action to request this? I think there's been a precedent of this committee, local committee, and I just ask for your consideration to do that. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Representative Glenn.
Absolutely. I have no problem with that. And thank you for that.
Without objection, the sponsor has asked that his bill be rolled 1 week. House Bill 0699 rolled 1 week.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Thank you, committee.
We have a point of order. Representative Shaw, you've been recognized.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I was just wondering if he would need to get a private act from his county commission before he left the room. I didn't know if he need to get a private act, bring a letter to you or what.
We can ask legal that question, but most of the time we don't do that unless it's a private act just affecting that one
Okay.
county.
Okay.
It's a general law. Any other questions? Chairman Rudd,
I'll
sorry.
consider that a compliment. Are any of these cities and counties in question home rule? Because I don't think, you can't do a private act if it's their home rule? Okay. Okay, might want to have him check into that.
All right. Moving on. Item 19 on our agenda, House Bill 0828 by Chairman Rudd has been rolled 1 week. All right, on your paperwork there, gentlemen, if you all could turn over to item 15, House Bill 1540 by Representative Martin. I have received 2/3 majority resolution from his local governing body. We got a proper motion and second. Representative Martin, you're recognized to explain your bill.
Thank you, Chairman and Committee. This is a private act for the city of Milan in West Tennessee, not to be confused with Mulan, which people not from West Tennessee always say it by. It's a pretty simple change. It's working the private act to update charter into current statutes. One small change, as I do mention, is previously it said the mayor, with the approval of the board, shall appoint a city recorder. Substitutes that to say the mayor shall appoint a city recorder.
You've heard the explanation of the bill. Is there any questions for the sponsor? Seeing none, without objection, we're ready to vote on House Bill 1540. Moving on to calendar and rules. All those in favor, please say aye. Opposed, no. Bill moves on to calendar and rules.
Thank you, Chairman and Committee.
I think all we have left, gentlemen, is we've got a couple here. Let's go ahead and get to item 20, House Bill 0882 by Representative Martin. He will be presenting from his desk.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Do I have a motion in second? Proper motion and second. I do see it has an amendment. Can we please have your drafting code?
That would be, Mr. Chairman, 004280.
That is correct. Proper motion, second on the amendment. Is the amendment make the bill, sir? Would you like for us to put that on, or do you want to just discuss it separately? It's your choice.
Yeah, let's put it on. Yes, sir.
Okay. All right, we'll go ahead and vote on the amendment going on the bill. All those in favor of Amendment 4290 going on to House Bill 882. All those in favor, please say aye. Aye. Opposed, no. The bill is now amended. You're recognized on your bill, sir.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman and committee. Right now, a candidate in an election is entitled to tally sheets and poll lists following an election. And what this bill does, it adds to these entitlements the addresses of those who voted with a fail-safe ballot, which is a person whose address did not align with the precinct they chose to vote in. And this expedites a candidate's ability to review these addresses as opposed to making a public records request in this case. Time is of an essence, and the candidate should be allowed this additional safeguard. And I would appreciate a positive recommendation. Be glad to take any questions.
All right, we have, first off, we'll have Representative Shaw.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Have you consulted with the local election people on what burden it's going to put on them to do that? That's going to be quite a bit of work. I'm not saying it can't be done, but have you talked to any of them? What's their position on this?
Representative Martin.
Yes, sir. This can be done. If you had a number of fail-safe ballots, it would be something that they would get to them in the same manner that they got the poll list and the other items that the candidate's entitled
Representative
to.
Shaw for follow-up.
Yes, sir. Thank you. Matter of fact, to be perfectly honest, this is the first time I saw this. I really would like to know how my election officials feel about it, but, you know, I just don't know right now. And it's just out of my ignorance of knowing. I just don't know right now how that would work too well, but I'll listen to the comments.
Representative McKenzie, you're recognized.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Has anyone from the department been asked to speak on this?
Representative Martin.
No, sir, I don't have anyone that's prepared to speak on this, but I have had conversations with Mr. Goins with the election.
Representative McKenzie.
So I guess since he's in the audience, we couldn't ask him to opine on what the,
I'm sorry, we have a 24-hour notice and we don't have one for for Chairman Goins. So we'll have to, Representative McKenzie.
Thank you. Thank you, Mr. Chair. I'm trying to figure out how this would look. You know, election night, we can go by the precinct and get the little, you know, receipt roll off of who voted for who and whatnot. Are you saying that in addition to that, now they're going to have to provide another separate piece of paper that has the names and addresses of these potential people? How does that look logistically?
Representative Martin.
Well, the way that would look is, let's say that there was a close election and someone lost by 20 votes and there were 100 fail-safe ballots. Instead of them going through a FOIA request, they would get the opportunity to get that material in an earlier manner from the election commission to know the addresses of those 100 people that perhaps had voted in a fail-safe manner.
Representative McKenzie.
Thank you, Chair. Thank you, new Chair. So I guess the way I'm reading is you're aligning it with our ability to get an immediate result. Are you saying that now the election commissions across our great state are going to have immediate results for this? And if that's the case, I don't see how this cannot be a non-significant bill from a fiscal standpoint.
Representative Martin.
I don't think the word immediate is used here. I think it's about in a timely manner, Representative McKenzie, that they would be able to get that. If you're waiting a week or week and a half to get this information on the people that voted fail-safe, then you have issues. So this is going to allow a candidate to be able to get that information quicker. I wouldn't say immediate, I'd say quicker.
Representative McKenzie, follow-up. Representative Shaw.
I don't know that I'm against your bill as much as I'm trying to figure out how this is going to affect the integrity of the vote and the burden of getting this information out there that quick with, as someone said, without a fiscal note on it. I'm not speaking so much against your legislation. I just would like, I don't have clarity in my mind about those things. And can you tell me anything to clear it up for me?
Representative Martin.
Well, Representative Shaw, I'm not exactly sure what's not clear, so I don't know that I can make it clear, but okay. I guess what I'm saying is that this is a bill that's going to allow a candidate who feels like that there perhaps were more fail-safe votes than what they lost by, and if they question and the voters question the integrity of that election, it gives them the opportunity to know the addresses of the people that voted fail-safe. It's not going to, if there's any recount, that's something's going to be done by a judge or an election commission or something like that. It's going to get the information in a more timely manner to the candidate.
Further questions? Representative Miller.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. It's more of a question, I guess a parliamentary question. I just saw Chairman Moon walk out and have a conversation with Mr. Goen, and I don't know what it was about. However, my question is, under our rules, how could we change those rules, especially if we have a government agency out in the audience? And if a member here wanted to go to that agency or that individual, we can't do that because we didn't have a 24-hour notice. How could we change that rule in this committee?
Representative Miller, that's not a question on the bill. But
Well, that's true.
No, but you raise a good question. If it be no objection, I'd like to call on Representative Moon to maybe opine on our rules.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I was confused. I've never heard the term fail-safe ballot. So I went to ask, what's the difference between a fail-safe ballot and a provisional ballot? That's why I was trying to clear up my mind, and I didn't want to take the committee's time, but I knew Mr. Goins would be able to provide me that definition. So that's my discussion with the
Representative Miller, a follow-up at the moment, or should I recognize Representative Moon? Chairman Moon. Chairman Moon.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. We come and go. I just presented a bill in House Hearing Room 2, but like I say, my quandary in my mind was the difference between a provisional and a fail-safe ballot. So if I was out of order, I stand to be ruled as such. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Chairman Rudd.
Thank you. I'm not a parliamentarian. I'm not an expert, but I know we read the committee rules at the beginning and they got to be followed, which we all did. And subcommittee works a little different since we're a smaller body. Whenever I have departments, like in my subcommittee, the only department I really work with on a regular basis is elections. So I, as chairman, put them on the list every week as a witness if they're needed in subcommittee. But they can't do that in full because they work with all the departments. So the full works a little differently. So the individuals have to call them up, the bill sponsors on a larger on a full committee. But to change the rules, as you asked, that would have to be done before each session, I believe. You'd have to go to the caucus chairs and the speaker, and they would have to discuss how to change the rules of the House.
Further questions of the sponsor? Representative Miller?
Thank you. To the sponsor, would you consider rolling the bill until next week and we can get some expert interpretations from the Department of Elections, which will give them 24-hour notice to be in the
Representative
committee?
Martin?
Chairman Wright? Am I
Representative Martin.
recognized?
Yes.
I would request that we would go to a legal meeting and let our attorney explain this so that we can move forward.
Thank you, Representative Martin. We will go out of session for legal to give an interpretation of the dilemma in front of us. We're out of session.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Josh Houston, Legal Services. Representative Miller, correct me if I'm wrong. The question is the difference between a provisional ballot and a fail-safe ballot. Is that what we're discussing at this particular moment?
That was actually Chairman Moon's question.
Okay.
You can answer that if you want.
So a fail-safe ballot or vote is when the person comes and they're in inactive status because they did not respond to the confirmation notices that are sent out by the county election commissions, or they've moved, but they show up to the correct precinct. They can sign an affidavit that says that they're voting in the correct place and they can vote. It wouldn't be a provisional ballot in that instance, and that's the difference between the two. Is there any other questions?
Representative Shaw, do you have a question for legal while we're out of session?
Yes, sir, I do. Thank you, Mr. Chairman. And my question is the question that I asked the sponsor of the bill. In terms of the election people back in our district, all of our election folks, can you, Josh, in any way describe how that would work? What kind of burden it would put on them? Would they have time to do all of that in the length of time that this bill is asking, or would we need extra staff, that type thing? Can you speak to that at all?
I'm not entirely sure that this is requiring any speed to be taking place in this. This is just if the candidate requests it, they can get the list of voters who changed their residential address under that provision that I just described about the fail-safe voting. So,
Representative Shaw, follow up.
Yes, one follow-up. What time period would they have according to the legislation?
it does not have a time period set. It just, when the person makes the request, then they provide them with the documentation.
Representative Miller, did you have a follow-up question?
No, sir.
Representative McKenzie, did you have a follow-up question? Representative McKenzie.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. And to that point, so I guess I'm trying to figure out what now does this bill do that's different from current law? Could you address that? Is this request currently unlawful for a candidate to request these documents?
I wouldn't say that it's unlawful. It's just not provided for in law. This, we are adding a provision to a provisional law that says it's a right of the candidate to receive certified copies of poll lists and tally sheets. And then we're adding this additional list of voters who changed their address at the polling place.
Thank you, and thank you a lot for that clarification. Thank you, Mr. Chair.
Do we have other questions of legal while we are out of session? Seeing none, we're back in session. I was going to ask if there are other questions of the sponsor, but having heard a call for the question and seeing a second, we are voting on House Bill 882 as amended. All in favor say aye. Opposed, no. Ayes have it. Bill moves on to calendar and rules. If you wish to record yourself as a no, please see the clerk. We're now moving to item number 17. Chairman Grills. This is page 20 on our agenda. And if we could pause for just a second. You ready to take the gavel back? We will move the gavel back to Chairman Crawford.
Okay, gentlemen, ladies, we are on item 20. Okay. Back up. Item number 17, House Bill 1012 by Chairman Grills. Proper motion and second. I do see it has an amendment. Can you please provide your drafting code?
Mr. Chairman, 004596.
That is correct. 004596. We have a proper motion and second on the amendment. Would you like for us to place the amendment on the bill? Without objection, we'll vote on amendment 4596 going on the bill. Please say aye. Opposed, no. Bill is now amended. Chairman, you're recognized on your bills amended.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. This bill does two things. First, it makes a minor fee and just increase that will help our Tennessee constables, obviously with the gas prices and things of inflation, to help with that. And second, it allows the legislative body in each county to set up a process to increase through adoption fees to supplement pay as they deem necessary. So we're going to increase the constable's pay, and then we're going to allow the county legislative bodies, if they want to give them extra, they can do that through a resolution process.
You've heard the explanation of the sponsors. Are there any questions? Question has been called on the bill. We're ready to vote on House Bill 1012. Moving on to Finance, Ways and Means. Please say aye. Opposed, no. Bill moves on to Finance, Ways and Means.
Thank you, Chairman.
Our final item on the calendar looks like item 12, House Bill 1550 by Chairman Todd. I have received a 2/3 resolution from the majority governing body. It's in my office. If anyone would like to see it, Chairman Todd, you're recognized.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Appreciate your patience. We're all juggling different committees as I just saw you in the other committee. So appreciate you entertaining this one. This is a local bill that extends a deadline for construction on a project because of COVID, some supply chain issues, and then also some potential growth with this project. We just need to technically change a date and got the local act to take care of that. So it is a private act to do just that. I'll be glad to take any questions.
Any questions? Seeing none, I think we're ready to vote on House Bill 1550. All those in favor of it moving on to calendar and rules, please say aye. Opposed, no. Bill moves on to calendar and rules. Is that it? All right, gentlemen, before we close today, is there any announcements or personal orders? Seeing none, let me apologize for jumping around so much today, but you guys understand from one committee to the next, we have a lot of people moving bills. So again, I apologize, but I appreciate your attentiveness and the hard work you do. So at this time, I'll entertain a motion to adjourn. We are adjourned.